Hey guys, welcome back to another lesson in my piano course for beginners level 2. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so, and if you like what you see, give this video a thumbs up. If you're interested in getting the accompanying method book for this course, there's going to be links for that below, and I also offer online piano lessons. If you're looking for one, there's going to be information below. In this lesson, we're going to learn about staccato playing or bouncy playing. In the previous lesson, we learned about legato playing, the phrase, keeping things very smooth and lifting, phrasing, musical ideas. Now we're going to learn about the opposite of that, which is staccato. In order to know that a note is supposed to be played staccato, we have to place a dot above the note head or below the note head. So as you can see on the example here, the dotted note is not the same as a staccato note. If you place a dot on the right side after the note value, it's going to be longer, like a dotted minim or dotted half note, which becomes 3 beats. But if you place the dot above or under the note head, it's going to become sharp, bouncy, and staccato. There are two things that really distinguish staccato from legato playing. The first one is that the notes are separated, they are not connected like in legato playing, and the second one is that the key attack is very short and sharp. It's bouncy, so it's a very different level of energy that we need for staccato. The English name of staccato, bouncy, is actually a very good description of what it should look like. When we play staccato, we have to make sure the wrist is very flexible, is very soft, we have a curved hand shape, curved fingers, and the hand bounces off very quickly, not in a static motion, but again in a wavy motion. And imagine that you touch something really hot like a stove and you bounce away from it because it's a reflex. And that's what staccato should feel like. Now, staccato playing in the beginning feels a lot more challenging than legato playing because every time you bounce up, you have to find your way back onto the note or into the position where you were before you left the keys. And doing that very quickly, multiple times after each other, you leave the keys every time, you have to find your way back. So it's very easy to slip off the keys or lose the finger number or the position. The most important thing about staccato is that the note values don't change just because the note is sharp. So if I play 5 notes legato, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I play the same notes and the same note values staccato, it's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I was still counting, but the note already finished and my hand left the keys, but the note value has to stay the same. So do not do staccato like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. It has to be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So whether you play connected legato or staccato detached, the counting, the beats and the tempo has to be the same. Just because the note is shorter, it only means that there's going to be a longer gap between the two notes instead of playing them after each other very quickly. Let's play now 3 examples, and we're going to understand the difference between legato playing, detached playing, and staccato playing. So I'm going to come back to my 5-note scale, as you can see it on the screen, and I'm going to play it legato, very connected. So dropping the hand. Every note is blended together, and I'm not releasing the previous note until I press down the next note. Now let's play detached. That means that I'm going to lift up my hand between each note, but I'm not going to make it sharp and I'm not going to make it staccato. Notice how it wasn't bouncy, but there was a gap between each note, and we call that detached playing. And that's neither staccato nor legato. Now let's go into staccato. Very different to detached. There's a sharp energy going in, the hand bounces up, and the sound is a lot more energetic. So that's the main difference between legato, detached, and staccato. If you don't see a slur and if you don't see any dots, it's by default detached, although that's kind of different in modern music, but in the classical term, that means it's detached playing. If you see a slur, it's legato playing. If you see the little dots above or below the notes, it's staccato playing. Now let's see a real world example and let's learn a short piece that helps us work on staccatos. Bouncing balls, which as the name says is almost like a machine or ping pong. The piece is more like a finger exercise in staccato. All the notes and chords are staccato except for the final bar in each line, which is a held half note or minim. Play with lots of energy, a very soft wrist and curved fingers. The time signature is 2-4, which means we have 2 crotchet beats or quarter note beats in every single bar, and it says andante, so walking speed. Let me demonstrate it first and then I'll talk you through. It's a kind of playful, easy melody. Let's start with the left hand. It has the primary chords of C major and the 5-note scale. So we've got 2 kinds of staccatos. In the left hand, we've got chords, which are forearm staccatos, and we've got finger staccato when we have the 5-note scale. So let's start with chord 1. 1 and rest, and 1 and rest, and 1 and rest, and 1 and 2 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 and. Now notice how when I was playing the crotchets or quarter notes, even though the note was very short, I still held the silence between the notes. 1 and 2 and. So I need to make sure that the pulse stays very even if I play staccatos. When I play the 5-note scale, I'm kind of flicking the keys very gently. Very little movement going on in the hand, nothing going too high up. The forearm is not really moving. But when I play my chords, I need a bit more energy and very much accuracy to make sure all 3 notes go down together and the hand bounces up with the forearm. So there's a big difference in the muscle movements between playing staccato chords and staccato melodies, single notes. Right hand starts in the C position, 5 on the G, 1 and 2 and 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 1 and 2 and. So very easy quavers all the way through, easy counting, and it's mostly steps and skips all the way through, so quite easy to sight read, and it stays in the 5-finger position. Hands together. Making sure it's very playful, nothing is too rigid, nothing is too rough. It has to be light, airy, and playful. Both hands should be fairly flexible, nothing too stiff, especially the wrist. Make sure the wrist is freely moving all the way through when you do these melodies and staccatos.